powers higher. Wide and meat, these snakes grow sly. They can't resist, taking all they can. They will kill their fellow man. We've seen their tricks, we've seen their plans. We felt their breath, we know we're down. We felt their breath, we know we're down. Eaters, their power goes higher. Wine and meat, these slaves go slyer. They can't resist, taking all they can. They will kill their fellow man. We've seen their tricks, we've seen their plans. We felt their breath, we know we're down. We felt their breath, we know we're down. Williams, aka the Futurist, though looking decidedly goth today, obviously. Snake! Still on very, very soon, so you'll be wanting some of them, won't you? Shall we have, what shall we have from Gothzilla? Shall we have them live at my festival recently? I think that might be an interesting option. The sound won't be ideal, but, you know, it'll do what it does or something. So in around 5 minutes or so we'll have a chat with Tim of Gothzilla, and of course he just had my band Jandor Band first, so there you go, that was a thing. Right, yeah, so Gothzilla Temple of Sound live at Black Midwind Tour. Up too much though. Right then, yeah, Gothzilla then, what's that all about?
Well, it is what it is. We just write the songs that we enjoy and get on with it basically, and see how they turn out. And there's never been any rules. We just let the flow go where it goes basically.
So have you ever tried writing songs you don't enjoy?
No.
Well, I mean, how do you know if it's?
Would you do that?
How do you know if the strategy of sort of writing songs that you enjoy is definitely the right way? I mean, have you considered maybe it could be an option? Write songs you don't enjoy, see how that works out.
Well, judging by the amount of success we've had so far, that's possibly something we might need to investigate at some point. Yeah.
So yeah, you've had a fair bit of success though. You went down hugely well at Goths on a Field, and you sort of kind of blew everyone away at Black Midwinter.
I can't complain, certainly. Yeah.
And people love you live. As I've said to you and many other people, it was kind of a little worrying. Facing the prospect of following you at Goths on a Field. You've got that wonderful sort of sing-along anthems kind of feel to your thing, and I'm curious to know where your sort of influence comes from in Goth.
In Goth, well, I started out listening to John Peel show back in the early 80s, and he played a whole mix of everything and introduced me to the likes of Susie the Banshees and Bauhaus and what have you. But then I got into the new romantic stuff and curiously the heavy metal stuff at the same time. So I went away from Goth completely for a long while. It's only in the last couple of decades that I got back into it. So the 90s and the early tweenies were a complete missed out in the terms of Goth. I'm catching up on a lot of stuff that I missed out first time around.
And so I guess that kind of metal aspect of things is perhaps what more influences and you could say informs the sort of more bombastic element to your take on Goth.
Definitely, yeah. The first show I ever went to was Kiss. Far too many years ago to mention, but and Kiss, you can level hate the music, but you cannot deny they put on a show, and that's what I totally got blown away by. I mean, I was standing about 10 feet in front of Gene Simmons for the whole show, and I thought, this is an impressionable 15-year-old thinking, yeah, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So formed my first band straight after that, basically, and never looked back from then since. But as I say, the Kiss put on a show, and all these heavy metal bands put on a show. I find that the goth bands don't tend to do as much of that sort of thing. They tend to let the music speak for themselves, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
mean, obviously,
there's not as much of a show.
Obviously, that's what I like to go for. I mean, you certainly wouldn't see me sort of flailing around like a clown in the street or anything like that. Very understated kind of thing. I mean, I may look like I'm auditioning for Kiss tonight, but still. But yes, I mean, it seems almost sort of a little bit contrary to the goth thing when you start telling people at an event like my last festival. You know, we want to see you having a good time and that sort of thing. I mean, this is goth. We're supposed to be sort of miserable and weeping in corners. What on earth are you telling people to sing along and have a good time for?
You and I know that's just to put the people that aren't in the scene off it. Well, those that are in the scene and go to the gigs love to have a good time.
Yeah,
We just
we
don't
do,
want
right?
anyone else to know about it, basically. But yeah, you and I have the same philosophy, I think, in that respect. We want a show to watch. I don't want to go to a gig and just listen to a band repeat verbatim what they're doing on record. I might as well just play the record. I want to see, entertain me, give me something that I can go home and say, God, that band last night was so good because X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, I can totally
yourself,
get behind that, obviously.
I saw you guys for the first time, which was at your first Bleak Midwinter Festival in Sheffield. And it was just a total revelation. I'd not seen you before. I'd only heard a couple of your songs. I had no idea what to expect. And you came on with this brilliant red costume that you got there.
Yeah, my lovely red coat, which is gradually becoming more and more destroyed as the time moves on.
Yeah. And you did Yes Sir I Can Boogie.
Indeed, which is...
I would have never have thought about doing that as a cover, and yet with you guys it works so well because it is just part of what you do, basically. It's entertainment.
It's kind of regrettable it's become something of my anthem. Why don't people want my own songs, damn it? Have you... I mean, the thing is, at least you've got, say, like Temple of Sound, which, absolute bombastic barnstormer of a track, and it literally was a barnstormer in the Gothzilla Field Festival.
Indeed,
as we played in a barn.
Yeah. Well, exactly, and part of my rock background is trying to get people involved, and I say to the audience at the gigs we do, audience participation, while not mandatory, it's expected of you. So I do try and get the audience involved as much as they can. Sometimes it's a struggle, sometimes they're straight up for it. So it just depends.
So
just depends how the evening's going.
You've obviously had something of variable lineups in sort of recent times, with Stuart most recently being a rather wonderful addition to the band, and now I've stolen him for a festival I'm playing in June. It's just that all these goth bands are actually just three people pretending to be lots of different bands. But yeah, so Stuart was an absolutely wonderful... That's the only version of Gothzilla I've seen, but that was... Stuart worked so well in the band. So tell us about the new member you've added to replace him.
He's actually an old chap. It's a chap called Mike Wheeler, who was in the band a few years ago and then left to form the Dead Seasons, which is the only other Scottish goth band that I've found, basically. So it's all interweaved in there. And when Stuart said he was leaving, I was having a chat with Mike, and he said, yeah, I'll be into that. So we've spent the last few months rehearsing, bringing him back up to speed with the stuff, and he's raring to go. We're off on tour in, we've got a few dates in February, but we're off on tour in March with In Isolation and Ex-Superstar and Feather Trade. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. And of course, before that, we've got a date with yourselves in, where's it, Wakefield?
Wakefield, yes. We're 16 days away from that.
Oh, crikey.
So
I better learn how to play my chords again.
When you're writing stuff, though, is it just you? Are you the songwriter for Gothzilla, or has it been in the past the band writing?
No, there is no band effectively outside of the live unit. Gothzilla in the studio has always been myself and my producer, Greg Friel. And between the two of us, we come up with the songs. Greg's very talented songwriter in his own right. He comes very much from a pop background, and then with my rock and goth background, I guess that's where the Gothzilla sound comes from, if there is such a thing. He'll disagree with things that I think are good. I'll disagree with things that he thinks is good, and between us, we come out with what we put on the record eventually.
Is that, with his pop background being a thing, is that how Hit Me Baby One More Time came about? Yeah.
That's a good question.
I mean,
That
you
was
say
the
you
first
wouldn't do
single
like Boogie, but yet you've done that. So there's that similar kind of thing there, you know. And did you
Yeah,
genuinely
I
like
agree.
that track to begin with? Because I adore the original Yes Sir I Can Boogie, which is why I do my own version of it.
Yes, well, I did like the original track, and I thought obviously it's a popular track. If we're launching the band to an unsuspecting world, then let's hit them with something that they're familiar with, but give it our own twist. And for those that know the single or the video, know that we completely did a completely different arrangement. It's very slow, very deep, and quite scary in some places. And that video on YouTube is certainly the most successful we've done. That's had like over 27,000 hits since it was released. So obviously, people are just putting Baby One More Time into the search engines and coming across that one at some point in their journey, which is exactly what we intended it to do.
Have you done that live at all?
I think we've played it 3 times live, maybe four. I think again, just because of my view of what a show should be, I try not to do slower songs within the
Yeah,
live
yeah.
set, especially when you've only got a limited amount of time. I mean, the sets that we do usually are less than an hour long. If we were doing our own 2 hour headlining set, then fair enough, we might do it again. But no, when we're doing live stuff, we try and get as many of the hits and the up tempo stuff in as possible.
And in recent times, obviously, your the highlight of your live experience will undoubtedly have been my festival. But
Obviously, yes.
aside from that, what other sort of memorable experiences of playing live have you had?
Oh, well, doing Corrosion Fest and Bats in the Attic last year in Morecambe was very good fun. We've played Goth City, we've played Carpe Noctem. They're all fantastic gigs. I love doing those. We opened for Toyah a few years ago, which was extremely good fun. Um, Toyah was one of my inspirations in younger years, as I think it was for yourself.
Oh, most definitely.
Um,
From
yeah,
5 years old, I was a big fan of It's a Mystery and Wanna
indeed.
Be
Well,
Free.
that's the track that got me into Toyah.
I think with
Yeah,
me it was I Wanna Be Free, which I kind of took to heart for the rest of my life, really, those lyrics.
yeah. And then obviously bought the Anthem album, which is just best album by far, as far as I'm concerned. Um, that has been played to death. I have it on cassette, would you believe, from back in the 80s, and it's so tinny sounding nowadays. So I have bought it on CD since, but the cassette still gets now and again. But yeah, Toyah I loved, and opening for her was just like a dream come true. It was fantastic.
I mean, certainly was a dream come true for me at first, but kind of turned into a nightmare, but that's another story. So, you've got a new single coming out tomorrow as this is
Tomorrow, yeah,
being broadcast indeed. So,
yeah,
tell us about
we
your
were
new
hoping to
single
give you
then.
we were hoping to give you the exclusive on the video on that one, Derek, but unfortunately it's not finished in time. So sadly,
Shucks.
we missed out on that with you. But yeah, we're releasing a new single tomorrow. It's a cover of a track by a band called Kill to This, who are friends of mine from way back in the 90s. In fact, two of my old band members are members of Kill to This now. It's a song called Faith Rape, and one of my favorite Kill to This songs, so it was a no-brainer when I was choosing what songs to do. And it's going to be part of a compilation of all the covers that we've done throughout the 13 odd years that the band's been in existence. So I was working out, we've now recorded 18 different cover versions over the years, and they've all been released here, there, and everywhere, and not really collected together. So I decided it was about time we just get them all in one place so that people can hear all of them and see how the band's progressed over the years.
So, what's the compilation of covers going to be called?
Don't know yet. That's really causing me issues.
I mean,
I've never had any trouble with naming albums before, but this one is so hard for effectively what is a compilation. Why should it be so difficult? So, any ideas, by all means, fire them my way.
obviously,
Um,
Susie went for Through the Looking Glass. Um, I'm trying to think of any other. Nick Cave's covers. David Bowie's covers album was Pin Ups. Um, So I mean, I did one sort of in the 90s with another band that was called Up to Our Necks in It. Covered,
Oh, I
you
like that.
see.
Yeah.
Covered.
Yeah.
Clever, you see. Very, very clever. We're just such genius. Yes, very humble too, obviously. So, any suggestions from the chat as to what they should call the covers album? So, if you think of anything, chat group, let us know. So, yeah, so you also did a cover with Alex of Last July. Have you done any other sort of collaborations in that way?
Well, funnily enough, that was supposed to be the first of 12 different collaborations we were going to be doing. We released that under a different banner. The project banner was Call Me Legion. And the idea was that it would be myself and different collaborators on every song. And we did the first one, which was Games Without Frontiers, with Alex from Last July and Alec from Dawn of Elysium and various other people. And then that one we released went down really well. I've got several more finished, but I don't have the full 12. We ran into delays because people said, yeah, they'll do it. We sent them off the tracks to do their parts, and they never returned them, basically. So, do we wait on those coming back, or do we just assume they're not going to do it and find somebody else? It's difficult to be discreet when you're doing that sort of thing. If you're having to push someone to the side when they've said they'll do something, and then they don't deliver the goods, basically.
Yeah, very, very frustrating, that sort of thing. I know, I think I've had that once or twice. Yeah, you definitely don't want that sort of thing happening. So, Wakefield, 18th of February, you can catch both of us. And any other tracks of yours you'd particularly like me to play in the meantime?
I'll give our last single an outing, Cast No Shadow. I love that track. Again, that's going to be on the compilation album. That was originally by a band that nobody's ever heard of from Ireland. And I think it's never actually been recorded. I just saw it on a live TV show, which I've eventually managed to track down. The only copy on YouTube. So it exists in one place on YouTube, and that's it as far as I can find. So I did some research and got in touch with their original record company, and to get the relevant, is it okay for you guys if I do this? And they said, yeah, fine, go ahead. So it was extremely nice of them to do that. And you're going to ask me the name of the band now, and I can't actually remember. I'll need to put it on the album cover because it's completely gone from me.
Well, if you tell me if you remember by the time this is going out on YouTube, I'll probably do some editing to this overnight and so forth. Well, it'll be in the morning usually, but still, if you can remember by tomorrow morning when I'm editing the video, that would be very handy. So any bands you'd like to give a shout out to, any who's been exciting you in recent times, who you've played with, other than obviously the answer really is Jan Doyle Band, which,
Obviously. I tell you who I'm really enthusing about at the moment is Western Ra, who headlined your festival in December there. I've seen them numerous times and played with them several times over the years, and they've developed as a live act so much since the first outing, as you would expect. And their new EP, the Breathe single or EP, is stunning. So I'm really into Western Ra at the moment. And Augur are also another one to keep your eyes on. If you haven't discovered Augur yet, do go out and check them out because they're fantastic.
Right, so one last thing. So obviously it kind of, you've already answered it in a way. So why should people come and see us all in Wakefield?
Because we're bloody good.
You sure?
Well, I am. Tell me more about this other band that you've got playing with us. I had a look at their videos the other day.
It's nothing to do with me. I know nothing about them. I didn't organise this. This isn't my gig. I know people forever keep assuming all the gigs are my responsibility.
Well, you come up with such good lineups with your gigs. We just assumed it was one of yours. That's what it was.
And we've got Death Ingloria, who create sort of sci-fi stories and then tell them through animation and their music, and also in comics. So I think we're going to get quite an audio-visual display with them. They have incredible videos, so I'll pop some of them on as well. And yeah, so I look forward to seeing you, and there may be a bit of a collaboration happening on that night as well. Yes.
Possibly, you never know.
You know, maybe that's a future single. I'll have to see. Depends if the vocalist you've got can actually learn to sing it in tune and, you know, remember all the words. Who knows? We'll have to see.
Absolutely.
See if that guest vocalist is any good, when whoever that might be. I mean, no clue as to who might be doing this track, whatever that track might be.
Well, indeed, and it was one that we were supposed to do in December, but sadly you caught the lurgy, so we couldn't do it.
I mean, that was if it was me that was going to do it, obviously.
Well, if we're doing it live, there is nobody else that could do it, basically, is there?
Yes, I mean, considering our mutual love of Toya, it seems apt that I should have a go at doing the vocals on your cover of I Hear. That might be, if there's any. Have you ever done that live much at all?
We've done it live once, and you missed out on it.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a staple for the set for the coming year. Certainly, we've been rehearsing it a lot over the last couple of months, and I think it'll be in the set for the year or so.
Yeah, it's a bit of an explosive one. So hopefully with our combined efforts, it'll be something spectacular for people.
Absolutely, certainly be a one-off to be worthy of seeing, I would suspect. So
definitely,
those the folks that are coming to Wakefield, have your cameras handy, record it for all time, get it on YouTube, what have you.
I don't know if Wakefield will survive both of us. Right, yes, thank you so much for spending a bit of time with me. I hope it's been good for you too. And I will see you in like 16 days or something, whatever it is.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Derek. Look forward to seeing you in Wakefield, and we shall certainly give them some laldi when we do our collaboration together. Yeah,
it's going to be an event that people should go down in history, much like Sex Pistols at the Free Trade Hall in wherever Manchester, wasn't it?
Way back when, and where
I was there, you know. Everyone was there. Anyway, I'll pop on Hit Me Baby one more time, and I'll see you in Wakefield.
Have a good one.
All right,
enjoy
bye
the rest
for now.
of the evening. Take care.
Baby, how was I supposed to know? Something wasn't right here. Oh baby, I shouldn't have let you go. And now you're out of sight. Show me how you want it to be. Tell me, baby, 'cause I need to know now. My loneliness is killing me. I must confess, I still believe. When I'm not with you, I lose my mind. So give me a sign. Hit me, baby, one more time. Oh, baby, the reason I breathe is you. Got me blinded. Oh pretty baby, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. It's not the way I planned it. Show me how you want it to be. Tell me, baby, 'cause I need to know now. Help me, God. My loneliness is killing me. I must confess, I still believe. When I'm not with you, I lose my mind. So give me a sign. Hear me, baby, one more time. Oh, baby, baby, how was I supposed to know? Oh, pretty baby, I shouldn't have let you go. I must confess that my loneliness is killing me now. Don't you know I still believe that you will be here? So give me a sign. Hit me, baby, one more time. My loneliness is killing me. I must confess, I still believe. When I'm not with you, I lose my mind. So give me a sign. 'Cause I must confess that my loneliness is killing me now. Don't you know I still believe that you will be here? So give me a sign. Give me, baby, one more time. but for you. They laugh at everything you do, but you find as you look below, you cast no shadow. You cast no shadow. You cast no shadow. You cast no shadow. You cast no shadow.
Let's have a bit of Death Ingloria next, shall we? As I say, let me bring up their bio again, and it's Vortex Bar Wakefield, where we're all playing together on the what is it, 18th of February, that's right. I'm going to turn off the gate because that's annoying me. Unfortunately, I've got it so loud the slightest thing I do is going to be picked up now, which is not an ideal thing. Right, so yeah, Death Ingloria. Let me get their page up and tell you all about them. London based, but they do quite a lot of streaming and that sort of thing in their music, exploring humanity's inevitable future, one sci-fi story at a time, music, comics and animations. So yeah, that's what they get up to.
I love to listen as you cry. I love the way your long blonde hair lies limp down by your side. To lock you in your cage, silently watch you as I burns away my rage, but you'll never know how much damage I can do. Oh, how much pain I have been stuck on you. But believe me when I say you'll never let you die. It's just no fun until someone cries. never let you die. It's just no fun until someone someone, I mean you. When I say someone, I mean you. When I say someone, I mean you.
That was Death Ingloria for you. Very good stuff. 18th of February in Wakefield. So we'll hopefully be having a chat with Death Ingloria next week. Thursday at 7 p.m. It should be a little bit earlier than normal. Best make sure I'm properly set up for that. Anyway, as you can see, I moved back. I moved the camera so you could see more of my lovely outfit. I'm actually wearing a mini skirt as well, which is very fetching, I assure you. Plan to maybe record a performance or something in a bit. So yeah, I'm going to leave you with this tonight. A little bit of Violet Candide's work, and it is her Peppy Pet Pepper music, and the track is called The View, and I believe it's been out about 2 weeks, and this will be your final track tonight.
This tremor becomes a shake, and bodies start to break. The Reaper takes his cue. A cycle to renew. blocks the view.